be a ton of good deals coming out. And whether or not that you can necessarily find exactly what you're looking for, which with all the options that we have today would be really hard. The top five options that we have from Harbor Freight, I would say, are good even if they're not on sale, and pretty much a must buy if they become on sale. Which, with Black Friday coming up, a lot of the items that we're going to talk about will be on sale. So, we're not going to talk about the more commonly known items that are good to get, such as the the disposable items like the plastic trim tools or the scrapers or even the magnetic trays. We all know that these tools from Harbor Freight are amazing for the price. These tool sets right here, I think they're like less than $5 when they're on sale and well under $10 when they're not. But, excluding things like this and even excluding some of the becoming more well-known items, like not necessarily disposable, but the heavy use items or the technically abuse items, if you will, like the dead blow hammers or the pry bars, have become more and more popular in terms of getting from Harbor Freight. And if it breaks, it bends, if the shot in the dead blow starts to come out because you've used it so much, these items are actually covered by their lifetime warranty. And all that you have to do is go in and swap it out for a new one. So these tools, paired along with these little ones, I think everybody already knows are a fantastic deal. And so if we take those out of the mix, right? Because those are very, very easy to talk about. The one item that I would say that pretty much a lot of people know, but I don't think that it gets highlighted enough, are their jacks. Now, you can go ahead and get their Pittsburgh ones. They just redesigned them with their gray color, and I think they still have some of the red ones laying around. But those jacks are amazing for the price. But their Daytonas, they're just easier to maneuver. They're easier to lift the car. They require less effort when it comes to that as well. And also, like, per pump, the car will go up higher with the respective weight capacity jacks compared to the Pittsburgh line. And I absolutely love these jacks. I have both of these ones specifically, the long reach low profile as well as the 1.5 ton one, just to lift up the corner so that I can get in my bigger jack. And these have served me amazingly well. I had the regular old Pittsburgh jack for a very long time, like 7 years. And when I decided to upgrade and get these two, I ended up selling that to somebody else and they're still using it today. So that jack, over 7 years old, and yeah, you can say I'm not a professional, but to use the jack, let's say even once a month over the course of 7 years, which I definitely used it more than that, I definitely got my, at the time, $100 worth. But these ones, they're just amazing. They'll hold the load. There's people who have done like load tests where they actually jack up the car, lock it into place, and they leave on vacation for like a week and see if the jack moved at all or if the car is still lifted, and it's still holding. So the seals on these, the weight capacity on them, the lifting capabilities, the ease of use, these jacks are a home run. And if I'm not mistaken, they're also on sale in addition to the Pittsburgh jacks during this Black Friday sale that they have coming up. So I would definitely, if you're in the market for it, but you don't need it right now, I would say hold on for a little bit and make sure to pick these up when they're on sale. But of course, what good are jacks if you don't have jack stands to go along with them? And they have a ton of them, right? I think their standard jacks that we have up top here, these ones have gotten a bad rap because of the whole warranty process that was associated with them. I guess the paint or whatever, it wasn't allowing the pawl to grab onto it and lock it into place, so it was slipping. And the nice thing about Harbor Freight is that they recalled all those. They said, hey, if you have these ones, go ahead and you can swap it out for the new ones. And to the best of my knowledge, there haven't been any issues, and they actually improved the design by putting a locking pin there. But these ones aren't my favorite because those corner edges can mar up your garage. Now, if you prefer I think it's Esco type jack stands, those are the ones at the bottom here. Those have a locking pin as well, and they're easier to kind of set the height for the jacks or make sure that both cars are even because you're pinned into the same point. But they do take up a lot of space. The ones that I prefer are the big ones here, obviously. These are the ones that I have. They have the round base, so they lay flat. The disadvantages compared to the other ones is that if you don't have like a smooth pavement, like if you're trying to do it on gravel, then these aren't going to be the best. But these are super lightweight, very compact, and when you're rolling around underneath the car with the creeper, these don't get in the way at all, and I'm very happy with them. I think I switched out from like an old set of Harbor Freights or a similar style to these, and when the other one, the one on the bottom, came out, I was very content with not upgrading or getting the new one as it will, because these ones perform very well, and these are the ones that I recommend. If I'm not mistaken, these are actually in the middle price point wise between the two other jacks as well. So I think a fantastic value if you have a nicely even paven surface that you're going to be working on consistently, then these are the ones to get. If not, then I can see, you going with either one of the other two. And now the next few ones are going to surprise you. And I actually have a few examples of our third option here, and that is going to be their pliers. I think for the money, especially when they're on sale, the pliers for the most part are a home run, depending on which pliers you get. And I know that there are going to be a lot of people out there that have made reviews, or when they look at these, they're like, oh, they're Snap-on knockoffs or what have you. And they say, Harbor Freight should have made their own design or whatnot. For me, as the consumer, as somebody who's not reviewing it, as somebody who's not really nitpicky, why are you going to break something that's not broken? Why are you going to necessarily deviate, if you will, from something that's proven, right? This style of 3-position slip joints with the different patterns on the jaw have worked well for Snap-on. And we know that Harbor Freight in their Icon line takes a lot of inspiration from Snap-on. And so as a consumer, I'm not so mad about it, right? I'm not somebody who's going to go out and buy a 60 to 100 and sometimes set of pliers when the Harbor Freights are well underneath $20. Their hose clamp pliers, same thing. I'm not a professional. I'm not going to be beating on these. I'm not going to be using these on a repetitive basis all the time. So it would take a long time for me to fatigue these pliers in the same amount of time as a professional would. So yeah, Harbor Freight might advertise them as professional grade. And if you're a professional, maybe you would want to stick to Snap-on, Matco, or the big name brands. But as somebody who's not a professional, but works on their car fairly consistently, I don't think I would run into any of the big issues that a professional would. And surprisingly enough, the grips, I thought that they would be like really uncomfortable because they seem pretty big. They're actually pretty comfortable and aren't as bulky as I had thought. The hose clamp pliers are definitely slimmer than the 3-position slip joints, but I absolutely love these ones. These ones are fantastic for taking off those hose clamp pliers, the ones that are kind of like elastic, they go over each other. So if you're doing anything like your coolant hoses or anything like that, this is going to be amazing to get those off. And like even some other wrenches that I've tried, I think that these work better than the locking pliers that I used before, and even some of the like cable ones as well. These just work amazingly well. And I think like if they're on sale, you could get them for like $15 or something like that, which leads us into their Knipex knockoffs from Doyle. Again, it's not the exact same thing, but it does carry a lot of inspiration, if you will, from Knipex. And I would recommend that you pick up the 7 or the 8 and the 10-inch version, because although they're not as good in their gripping force, when you're using these pliers in an 8 and a 10-inch configuration, you're not really needing to grab on to something that tight. The fasteners that these would generally be used on are not tightened down that hard. Now, if you plan to move up into the 12-inch, I think that the Doyles are priced very, very closely to the Knipex. And at that point, I would say just go ahead and grab those instead. Grab the name brand one at the 12-inch point, and then keep going from there. But at the 8 and the 10-inch mark, I think that these pliers are amazing. They've worked well on my quick disconnect for the pressure washer that I have, as well as the garden hose fittings that I have to put on. You don't need a ton of torque on them. You don't need to like grip them really hard. And if you need like something to hold on to, like a bolt or a fastener that's starting to become rounded off, these are a good option. Again, when you decide to go up to like the 12-inch, when you need something for the bigger fasteners, yes, the Knipex are great. But when you're working with small fasteners, to get you these two for less than the price of one Knipex in either of the sizes, I believe, this is amazing. And again, when Harbor Freight comes out with that 30% coupon for anything under $20, you can both of these qualify and both of these qualify. I picked up all of these pliers. I think after tax, it was just over $50. So an amazing deal. So, and that's why, to me, their pliers make number 3, which until recently, not a lot of people like. The regular Pittsburgh ones, probably wouldn't recommend unless it's something kind of lightweight. You need a second set of hands. Their locking pliers aren't that great, but people have started to rave about the Bremen. So maybe that's something that we should consider as well. I just haven't had the opportunity to test them out yet. Number 4 is going to be their mechanic style mobility items, like their rolling stools from Icon. I don't really like any of their other ones. They're not all that comfortable to me. I do have their like 3-drawer roller box. That's okay. It's a good little storage area that you can use while you're working on like wheels and other areas that are low, and you have an area to sit. It's not the most comfortable, but this seat definitely is. I love this seat. Even though the storage capacity isn't necessarily same as that 3-drawer one that I was talking about, this thing, it just moves better because the casters are bigger and the seat is just more comfortable. When it comes to things like creepers, I recommend getting to just the regular old Pittsburgh one. Don't spend the extra money on the Icon one. To me, it's just too big, too bulky. It's very cumbersome. Unless you have a truck, the other Icon one is going to be too high, and you don't have the storage area as well. Plus, those ones are way more expensive than this creeper here. I think that this creeper, for the price, it's very good. The plastic molded one like this, I prefer over the one that's I think it's like a steel construction. Those wheels don't pivot as well. I found that how the casters are secured to this type of creeper is much better than the other one. And so both of these are actually going to be on sale on Black Friday. You guys can find their Black Friday deal leaks all over YouTube and wherever else right now, but both of these are going to be on sale. So if this is something that you're looking forward towards, or if this is something that you would like to have or kind of step up your game from what you currently have, I think both of these are going to be on sale, and you could pick them up both for less than $100, which I didn't even wait for the stool to go on sale. I tried it out in the store. I loved it. I didn't use any coupons or anything. I picked it up for $100 when it first came out, but it has gone up to like $120. So to pick it up on sale when it's at $70, to me, it's a must have. And the last thing up here are going to be the torque wrenches. And there is a caveat here. If you go on the YouTube channel Tools Tested, you're going to see that he tested the regular basic Pittsburgh torque wrenches, the ones that when they're on sale, you can get them for like $10 each. And they all pretty much tested with a high degree of accuracy. The standard deviation, even after 1,000 cycles, was well within spec. And so to pick these up for $10, if you don't have a torque wrench, or if you're looking for an extra one, or if you want to pick up the 1/4 inch one because you hardly use it, I think is a fantastic deal. And if you're thinking about upgrading to say something like the Icon, I would say hold off. It might be natural to say, I like the click style torque wrench, so I'm going to upgrade and go ahead and get the Icon one. Now, the Icon one, it's just a little bit less than the one that I would recommend that you get, and that is the digital Quinn one. This is going to be easier for you to visually identify what you're going to torque at because it has the big screen. You can easily switch between different units. So if you're trying to do converting from foot pounds, inch pounds to Newton meters or what have you, it's going to be able to all do this for you in this torque wrench. And actually, to be honest, I kind of regret upgrading to my gear wrench torque wrenches, the 120 XPs. The indicator for when I reach torque, to me, it goes off too early. Now, I do love the knurled feeling of the handle. I love the flex head. I love the 120 positions. I love basically the feel and the features of the torque wrench. I just don't like that it tells me too early that I'm at spec. The Quinns, if I could do it all over again, I would still have both of these until I upgraded my 1/2 inch one. But it has a 72 tooth mechanism. The torque wrenches have served me well. I think I did most of my suspension work with these. I did the strut bar conversion with these. Amazing torque wrenches. And I think for like 10 or $20 more, and these go on sale a lot, I would say the natural upgrade from the click style Pittsburgh torque wrenches is going to be these digital Quinns. I would skip over the Icons unless you're absolutely in love with the click style mechanism. And the other exception is I think they have a 3/8 inch torque wrench that's in inch pounds. So if you don't really want to get a 1/4 inch torque wrench, if you want to stay within your 3/8 inch drive, that would probably be the other Icon torque wrench that I would say makes the exception in the click style. But the one that I would say is the upgrade to the Quinn is the 1/2 inch Icon digital torque wrench. And this one is expensive. Even on sale right now, it's coming in at $300. I would recommend to wait for when they roll out that 20% everything exclusions apply, but this isn't excluded, because at $350, the 20% off is $70. And so it beats the $50 that it's currently on sale for. I don't know what it's going to be on Black Friday. If you can get a coupon that has 25% off randomly, then this is also better than the $50 that it's currently on sale for. The indicators, or I should say the screen, has a much higher resolution than the Quinn. The indicators on the side, the vibration function that is absent on the Quinn, as well as the beep. This thing has all the bells and whistles. And at first I was like, $300 is a lot, or $350 is a lot. Come around the 20% coupon. And I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. I was so unhappy with my gear wrenches, even though the 1/2 inch was better than the 3/8. And that's the one I got rid of. I still have the 3/8, but I'm so unhappy with it. The range on this, I think it goes down to like 10 or 20 foot-pounds, and it goes up to like 250. The range on this is amazing. The head, although it's 72 tooth, it feels like a 90. It's so smooth in its function. the ability to, no matter what position you're in, whether you're underneath the car, you're on the side, you're torquing something under load, you're going to be able to see, hear, and feel some sort of indicators, at least 2 out of the 3, in terms of tactile, audible, and visual feedback from this torque wrench. And then you have the flex head on there. To me, it's $300 well spent. Of course, there's the addition of tax, but I was so unhappy with my gear wrench. More so the 3/8. I wish that Harbor Freight came out with a 3/8 version of this torque wrench. I'm hoping that they do come out with it soon, because I cannot wait to get rid of those gear wrench torque wrenches that I have. Their regular wrenches are fine. Their 120 XP wrenches I absolutely love. Their torque wrenches, the features are great. How it feels in the hand is awesome. It's just, it goes off too early. I feel like you should be able to bring it down some more. Like, I don't want to know that I'm at torque 50% of the way if I'm doing something like suspension, right? It's too early. But yeah, this is on sale right now. I don't know if it's going to be on sale during Black Friday, but definitely their torque wrenches usually are. The seat as well as the creeper is going to be on their Black Friday sale. I didn't see their pliers. Their jack stands, some of them are going to be on sale. Their jacks are going to be on sale. And I think these little items are also going to be on sale. So when they roll out with those promotions, though, when those coupons come out, I would say go ahead, pick them up. They are fantastic items, and what I would consider the top 5 items that a lot of people don't talk about. Maybe the first 2, right? You know, the jack and the jack stands, I think a lot of people talk about. But I don't think their pliers necessarily make the cut on a lot of people's lists, as well as the, you know, the non-tool items like the seats and the creeper really make the list. Some people will say that Icon torque wrench is overpriced. To a certain degree, I agree. And a lot of people think that their Pittsburgh torque wrenches are just disposable items, which, according to that YouTube channel, they're not. So with that, we'll open it up for Q&A. US Vidgem. Back in the day, Harbor Freight was where I would go for cheap one-time use tools. Their quality has greatly improved. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think when they started to roll out like their Icon lineup, that's when they were like, we can still keep making some good, cheap, disposable items, but we really want to start making good quality items. We don't want to be necessarily seen as a junk tool brand. We want to provide quality tools. So I'm happy that they have adopted that philosophy as well. And I hope that you figured out what was going on with that sound. So I hope it's just the lifters and nothing necessarily wrong with the belt or any of your pulleys or anything like that. Let's see here. Oh, we don't have that many questions in today. Huh. My Pittsburgh 3-ton jack doesn't go flat when the handle is horizontal. Fixing it after this call. Air trapped in the pump is my guess. Yeah, probably. I think I only really had to adjust my old Pittsburgh one time, but that thing was a tank for all the years that I had it. I think I really only needed to like add oil and bleed the system, maybe like full on do it like once, but that was it. In regards to your pulleys, you're saying that the sound is still there, testing the alternator next. I hope not. I hope everything is fine with it, and it's just that ticking noise. I didn't hear the typical like squeal that's associated with the belt. There's a little bit of it there from what I heard in your video, but I guess like if I wasn't prefaced with the idea that it could be the belt or the pulleys, and if I was just to listen to it by itself, I would probably think what you were saying in the later text, that it's the lifter, not necessarily the pulleys or the belt. If you didn't tell me to pay attention to the end, I probably wouldn't even notice that sound either. So let's see here. When are you doing brakes on the F22? Probably in December. My November schedule as far as videos is pretty booked, but yeah, probably December. I'm actually going to try to really like plow through a lot of videos. I normally give them more time, try to like make everything perfect, but I'm going to try to like plow through a bunch of videos so that I can get to my brakes, because I would prefer to change them before the indicator goes off. That way I know that my brakes are still good. How much more pad do you have left? But while we're here, another great tool deal that I have found is actually from Home Depot. And actually, I picked up some stuff from Home Depot already. It is, so their new 1/2 inch high impact. Off the market's expensive because you have to pair it with this, but you can hack it, pick it up for like $70 off. Just return this item. And I just did this the other day with their high-speed ratchet. So here's a couple other things that I'll show you guys. So I did this. This is what I did just yesterday. And for me, this is the first time that I've even seen this tool hackable. And so I jumped all over it. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but see, look, this is normally $250 on its own, but with the battery, it's $60. I have a bunch of these tools, and this tool doesn't really require like a very powerful battery because it doesn't have a lot of torque. So to get it for $60 off at less than $100, or sorry, less than $200, I think is a good deal. Let's see here. Okay, decline protection. Let's go for one more here. I mean, the good thing right now is that they're running like these Black Friday deals much earlier now. Let's see here. As you know, install the keys guard. Why didn't you install the bolt guard? Is that more for S55? I don't think that they offered it at the time. And yeah, it's more of an S55 thing. The N55, it's rarely an issue. I was thinking about doing it, and I asked some of my buddies at the shop. They said they've never seen an N55 come in for that unless it's like a drag car. In theory, like they're like, the only reason why that the N55 would kind of like unseat that would be that. But if you're there anyways, and if it's like on sale, if you can swing it, then by all means go ahead and pick it up. That's why. Okay, it makes sense now. When you were when I was reading your messages, I was like, how come you have hex fasteners there when it should be like an E-Torx? It should be like an E8 or an E10, something like that. But I can see why now. Yeah, still try it with the 1-inch extension and then your hex bit adapter. Try to see if you can get a hex on a, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's a 5 mil or a 6. See if you can get that on a socket. DeWalt is pretty cheap. DeWalt has a set. I think it's like $20 or something like that. Just grab it used. Grab it used from Amazon or eBay, wherever you can find it. And if it breaks, DeWalt is pretty good. There, you take a picture, you file the claim online, they'll mail you a new one. let's see here, 3mm rotors too. I'm not really sure. I haven't really chopped around for like what setup that I want to do. But yeah, I'm gonna do the whole thing. So I'm gonna do brakes, lines. Actually, I guess I could do lines. Yeah, brakes, lines, sorry, pads, lines, and rotors, as well as fluid as well. Yep. Those gloves almost drove there today. Oh, the Gorilla Grip gloves, those things. Oh my goodness. I was at first, when I first saw them, I was like, these little ribbed areas, they're such a gimmick. Like, they're not gonna do anything. But it's like you don't know until you know, right? So like my old gloves are just like a regular, there's no ribbed area to it. And I didn't realize that like when you're moving it, sometimes it would kind of like, let's see here, it would kind of like crawl up my hand. And so eventually after a while, you just got to pull it down. It's not really annoying because you don't know any better. But then when I was using those gloves, I was like, these things don't creep up. And like, once they're in, like they're in because they have the play in the fingers. And I was like, for $10, these things are amazing. Let's see here. Thanks for all the support to the tour community. Not a lot of us, and those M235i GC clowns are not allowed. Grand Coupe. Oh my goodness. Well, hey, if they have something to share, if somebody has information that's insightful information, we'll take them. That'll be their price of admission. You can come hang out, but you gotta have something solid to contribute to the group. Let's see here. Finally loaded up. This, I was amazed. So I did this. I'm going to get the inflator later today. Good thing I just remembered that. But I picked up the blower in order to help me dry the car more, because it's normally like $220, and when it's not on sale, it's probably like $200. Like, this is a relatively old model, but when you hack it, and it's the same because this is $179, this is also $179, so it's going to be the same, right? Add to cart. It's going to come out to like $94 or something like that. Yeah. So I have this one on the way, but the thing is that you can't purchase them in the same transaction. And I didn't want to like do like so many hacks in one day. It really depends on how cool they are at Home Depot. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind. It's not necessarily their money, but you know, to like kind of give them a break, I hacked the ratchet. So I bought it, immediately turned around and returned the battery. I didn't do this one yet. My old one is still good. Maybe if I can sell it, I can justify picking this up. I just don't need it, but I do need a blower to dry the car. I do need an inflator, and at $100 or less than $100, I already have a good supply of the M12 batteries. Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up. It's not the best blower in the world, but for $100, it's hard to beat. When you compare it to the other Milwaukee blowers, even the M12 that's well over $100, to get this at $100, it as their second highest output blower, to me, is a fantastic deal. If you already have the M12 batteries, then this is the way to go. And the reason why I would get the M18 inflator over the M12 is because, one, I don't want to be fiddling around with switching out the battery all the time. You put a 5.0 battery in this, it's going to last for a while. And I use my M12 batteries a whole lot more. So I don't want to like drain them, like constantly put them in, like use them up type of thing, because it's going to increase the wear. My M18s I really only use with my impact wrench. So the ones that I have laying around, I mean, how often are you going to inflate tires? You know, you're going to wash your car once or twice a month. So still, it's not that impactful if you're already on the M18 lineup. And if you're on both, I would say just go ahead. If the footprint isn't that big of an issue for you, if you're okay with having a little bit of a bigger item, I would say pick this one up as well as the blower, because also the M12 stuff is on sale too. You have the you have this one here, and there's another one. Right here. Oop. Oops, did I select? I probably did. So I selected the wrong one there, but oh, let's see here. Oh, maybe they're in the process of changing it. Well, then that makes the M18 deal even better, because before it used to be like you could hack these batteries and a charger for, you could do it with like their die grinder, their high-speed ratchet, the inflators, the blower. But I think that those items like the blower and the air compressor at the M12 line, they're just too power hungry for what the M12 can provide. And the output isn't all that great either. So that's why I would say go with the M18. So yeah, so this is $300. You're getting 2 batteries and the blower for $300 versus what we were talking about earlier. You're getting 2 5.0 batteries and a dual charger with a bigger blower for $200. So for $100 cheaper, you're getting, this. Of course, this is really all going to depend on what lineup you're already in, but I would recommend the M18 blower as well as the inflator over the M12 if you're not hung up on space. That's what I would recommend. So if I can continue to find good tool deals, I will continue to make the recommendations. I'm not affiliated with Harbor Freight in terms of like sales or anything, or Home Depot even. So, this isn't necessarily like a sponsored video or me trying to push anything. It's just, the holiday season is coming up, deals are coming out. And if I can help you guys upgrade your tools, improve your workflow, make working on cars more enjoyable, I would love to do that. And I hope that I did that with today's video. And if there's anything else that you guys would like me to cover in the future, please send me a DM at VroomTuber. I hope all of you have a good week, and I'll see you next Tuesday.